Three, two, one, ghost. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 321 Ghost. I'm your host with the silent G, Kyle, and as always, joined by my pal Natalie. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic because we finally reached our final destination
That is true.
for
Um,
now.
for now, they just announced the release date for the sixth one, right? Coming out in
Yep.
2025.
hmm
And for all, hey, they were trying to fool us, sell us a false bill of goods, as you say, trying to say that the last one was the final one. So I like, like I said in the last episode, listen to our episode on the Final Destination or Final
hmm
Destination 4, but I like how they just keep threatening that this is going to be the last one. And
hmm
because they kind of threatened that this was going to be the last one. Like, just kidding. This one's really going to be it.
it was for a while.
Time just escapes me the older
I
I get.
know.
I had no idea that this movie is 13 years old. I thought it like just came out. And I was like, why is there
No.
this is such a huge gap between the fifth one and well, next year when the next one comes out, it'll have been
hmm
14 years just short. But I'm like,
Kind of Scream style,
especially when the last one was the second highest grossing one of the entire series. You'd think they'd
which
keep fast tracking that
which is
shit.
bonkers, but yeah, you'd think so, but I don't know. Maybe they meant it when they said that that would be the last one and they had no intentions of putting out more.
So, this movie, directed by Stephen Quayle, newcomer to this series. He was a second unit director for James Cameron on Avatar and Titanic.
I saw that.
I think you can see the same grandiose storytelling on screen, I think.
Well, I mean I feel like it's much improved from the last two.
I would imagine that Stephen Quayle, he sends in whatever footage he captured for Titanic, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Jim, I got everything you need. Here you go. Shot some B-roll, a lot of destruction stuff. Don't worry, it all looks great." And it's just nothing but eyeballs flying screen. And James Cameron's just like, "Hey, man, like don't get me wrong, like we can work with this stuff, but I don't think you need to have." Eyeballs getting squished in every single scene you shoot, man. I don't know. This movie is also written by Eric Heiserer, who, at least I know, wrote what was that fucking movie with Amy Adams, Arrival? Did you ever see that one?
No, I've never seen that. And I actually probably wouldn't mind watching it. I get all of those movies mixed up. Anything that has to do with aliens or being out in space.
I don't think they're ever in space.
No,
Space
not for
comes
that
to
one.
them,
Yeah,
and
it
I feel like
arrived.
that's yeah, it did arrive. Don't spoil it. I mean, I guess the title kind of gives it all away, huh? But I feel like that's one, it's not horror by any means. It's definitely pure sci-fi drama,
Mm,
but I feel like that's something your husband would enjoy if he hasn't seen it.
no. He
Definitely.
does not enjoy anything but like just fantasy.
Mm,
None of this. It's too close to sci-fi is too close to horror, I think.
this movie wasn't always called Final Destination 5. Um I guess in its original planning stations or planning phases or whatever, uh it was they wanted to call it, I guess you would call it Five-Null Destination because it's spelled five, like the number five. It's kind of like how like five Scream kind of looks like five cream a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
or Scream 4 rather. I don't think they actually ever did that with Scream 5, but Scream 4 they would have the
Mm-hmm.
Skur 4M,
Forum.
something like that. Yeah. But it's really funny when you read it because if 5NAL looks a lot like Anal Destination,
Yeah,
which
you should all like either write it down or type it and see how much it looks like anal destination.
the fucking intern that was like, let's try it. Let's just see if it gets past him. And then he got the head of like New Line or whatever the fuck. It's like, oh my God, I love this. Let's roll with it. But then even then, how would you pronounce it? Because it wouldn't be five null destination, nor would it be like, I keep wanting to say like Fievel, like that little rat,
Oh yeah.
right? That goes
I
west.
think they would have really been banking on You know how if there's like, this is a terrible
Uh-huh.
example, but you know if there's like a letter missing from like a word on a license plate, your brain automatically like puts it together as the correct spelling and you can read it anyway. They were really hoping that would happen with Anal Destination.
One thing that immediately gives this movie an extra boo or a half a boo is you do have the return of Tony Todd as William Bloodworth.
Yes.
And
Thank goodness.
before we started recording, you'd mentioned that this is probably the most Tony Todd we get in a movie. So not
Hmm.
only did they bring him back, but they wanted to right some wrongs, go a little further and say, let's not just have him back. Let's have him back a lot, at least, in a few scenes.
Yeah, I didn't look into it, but I hope that there was an uproar that he wasn't in the last one and they were like, "Fuck, we got to get Tony back because the people are demanding it." We were.
This movie stars Nicholas D'Agosto as Sam. You've got Emma Bell, who plays Molly, Miles Fisher, who plays Peter. You also have Arlen Escarpeta, David Koechner, who's probably outside of Tony Todd, the most famous person,
Mm,
to fans of The Office and some
yeah.
other things. Um, and you also have Courtney B. Vance, who is definitely the best actor in this movie, probably, who plays Agent Block, the detective.
Oh, for
I
sure.
liked him okay in
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I keep messing this up every time, so I'm gonna remember. Before I start this movie, again, this is the fifth in a series of Final Destination movies we've been covering at the beginning of each month, with the exception of our first one, which is our very first episode. Go check
Hmm.
that out. Or, I mean, technically, spoiler alert, chronologically, you could listen to that one next
Oh
if you
yeah, you
wanted to.
could. Hmm.
So think about that. Um, we've got some rules. Natalie, can you share them with us?
Well, the rules are a little bit different since this is the last, currently the last Final Destination film. So previously we couldn't spoil any other movies. Now it's a free for all because we've got them all checked off. So we can talk about any of our Final Destination movies now. We are going to choose our favorite kill from this movie. We're going to give a boo score and we're going to give our final ranking of these movies. And we can change our rankings any which way that we want at any point, but our boo scores are ironclad. So that's that. Some people take issue with that. And then something that I added as a fun surprise is we're going to rank the opening scenes of all of the movies. So outside of your movie ranking, it's like it's just the opening scene, or I shouldn't say opening scene, but the premonition, if you will. So the opening premonition of each movie will rank, and they can be different than the actual movie ranking too. So I think that will be fun. And that's it. Oh, and we can't swear. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like,
It's too
what?
late. It's too late. We've already talked about anal destinations. So
Anal, that's
I know it's not a curse word, but
it's a medical term.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the fancy way to say butt.
Sure.
Okay, so let's hop into this movie, huh?
Let's do it.
Okay. So what on this movie? What do they sell?
What did they
What is this?
sell?
Yeah, what is this
Oh, I know.
company? What do they do?
I know that because I wrote down what do they do? And then later on, they actually say what they do. So they're a paper company. But why I was confused is because you have that like warehouse situation downstairs. So they're not only selling the paper and doing the administrative parts, like kind of the office style, but they also, I think, make and mill the paper there as well, which doesn't make sense. And I don't think would ever happen in real life, but I've never worked in the paper industry. So someone can let me know.
That's bonkers.
It is bonkers. It makes no sense.
So you have and I'm sure I'm not the first person to bring this up, but yeah, so you've got this paper company. You've got a guy named Roy that's working in the whatever, the underground. What do you call
He's
it?
he's working in the warehouse, we'll call it.
Warehouse.
We'll call it the warehouse, the underground.
And then you've got David Koechner in this. That is so strange.
Oh
Like
yeah.
all the
Well,
office
okay.
parallels.
I
And everyone's got gym haircuts. That's how you know that it's like
Well, there's that.
2002.
Okay, and then Molly is very much dressed like Pam. Like her outfits are looking real Pam. So
This is strange. I don't like that.
I don't know, but you completely disregarded this 3.5 minute sequence that opens this movie with that terrible music and the terrible special effects. And also, is this movie in 3D as well?
This one was also purposefully shot in the 3D. Now remember, Final Destination 3, I think, was upscaled after the fact. The fourth one shot in 3D. This one also
Mm-hmm.
shot in 3D. Yes, I did intentionally disregard it.
Because
You've
you
seen this
hated it so much.
well, you've seen this opening before in the
Yeah.
last one when they kind of hint at like past deaths and stuff. But I like the X-ray Mortal Kombat's version
Oh,
better
way better. But this one was just really long.
and very
It
serious
was 3.5 minutes long.
because they know these movies are like we the best we can put together is 75 minutes worth of content. So we really need to pad out our
Yeah.
beginning and our end, which both this is like two movies in a row where you have your opening and your end credit scene just like reminding you of other deaths, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't see this in the theater, and I know that because I forgot that it was 3D.
I don't think I did either, though I may have. I don't know. So
It's a paper company.
you meet your group who are having some sort of picnic before they go on some work retreat. Have you ever done like a work retreat before like that with like team building and bonding shit?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus.
it didn't have a breakfast spread like Sam made. I was like, pays to have a chef on the team. That looked
Yeah.
delicious and amazing. So I just want to give him a shout out for that. But yes, I have done work retreats and team building things. And I'll say, unless I was the one that planned them, I'm never a fan of team building retreats or activities. I don't find them helpful. I think being in the trenches with each other is the best way to team build, to be honest. How about you?
No, not like, or at least not to that level. Not where I was like ever gonna fucking rent a bus for somebody.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
no.
No, not to the extent where you'd ever find me on a bridge. I wouldn't
I mean,
even do that with people I love.
I've flown to do like work retreats and like, conferences and things like that where they do team building activities out of the country, even. That's how serious they feel about it.
I keep like pretty good boundaries and like I don't like doing, I mean, I guess if they're getting paid to do this, I suppose. That's one thing.
They
I don't
are.
know.
It's during their workday.
I'm just not good at bonding with people. For someone is like I feel like I am kind to people. I I don't know. It just sounds very exhausting to me to do that sort of
Mm,
thing. I'm just like, can I just like
it
go to
is.
work and can we just like
Yeah.
bond by taking a day off and all just separately doing things that bring us joy, you know? But I
Natural.
also understand from when I was more of in supervisory roles, um,
Hmm.
I was like, I know I was always bad about it because I just asked like the people that worked for me like, do y'all want to do this? Like I can do it. Just
Usually they
let
say
me know.
yes.
Sometimes because usually there's like I don't know like pizza involved or something, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. I think I took some people out to a baseball game once because I was like, all right, if we're gonna do this, you
That's
need to
nice.
come. My rules.
Do you need to participate in my interests?
Yes. So we're all gonna sit and watch a Mariners game. Um, I don't know. Yeah.
I bet they'll rethink the next time they want to do a work retreat.
So we meet all of our main characters here. Just getting all of that off the bat is very nice. You've
Hmm.
got Sam, who is your full-time paper salesman, part-time French chef.
Yes.
Okay. And then you've got Molly, who is like,
The most boring person in the world.
yeah, and she, I think, also sells paper, right? She works
Uh-huh.
there. And then is like, I don't want, I want to break up with you. She brings that up right then.
Um, no, he brings it up because he says, "Hey, like I saw that your ticket was canceled. Like, what the heck happened?" I'm like, "Molly, wow, that is fucking savage that you would cancel that ticket before you have a conversation with this man. That's brutal."
Well, you only have so much time before you get your refund. I don't know.
I mean, I thought that was pretty. She's like, "Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're gonna have a conversation when I see you."
I think if anything, doing that first kind of softens. So you're not just coming at them like they're already coming in knowing something's up. So already,
Sam
okay.
did not, he did not catch that hint.
No, he
He's
didn't.
like,
Ah,
he's
well.
like, "Gee, golly gosh, what happened with your ticket?"
So you've also got Peter, who is Sam's buddy and also his boss,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he's middle management because you got Dennis, played by David Keckner, who is the
Big
boss
boss.
of that branch.
Mm-hmm.
Your Steve Carell of sorts. And then you've got Olivia, who
Mm-hmm.
I guess also sells paper.
Uh-huh.
Um, her vibes all over the place. But
It's,
also,
yeah,
if
it
you told
really
me
is.
this was 2000, I'd be like, oh, okay. I think she fits a little bit better. But even
Mm-hmm.
still, I'm like, look, Natalie, I'm not here to challenge professional standards, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think that, we need to not punish women for what they wear or what they show. And we really need to have more conversations with men, right? Or people who
Mm-hmm.
leer, right? I get that. Yes, and
Yes, and I have thoughts too.
I don't think she can just like show that much like midriff all the time or like just change like that.
In the
I don't
parking
know.
lot, just
In the
change
parking
like in the
lot,
middle of the parking lot. Okay. In our current year of 2024, I feel like a lot of employers are a lot more progressive with, you know, attire guidelines and things of that nature. But I still don't think you could get away with that outfit in an office environment, even if you were at a retreat or if you did switch into new clothes. Like she changed, but like again, in the parking lot, she has access to the building. She works in that building, but also in the year of 2000, no fucking way would she have been able to get away with that. They probably like could have gone up to her and been like, put some clothes on and been like lawsuit free. So I think that was a bold choice by Olivia, but I do like that Candace both fat and slut shames her all in one sentence.
you also have Candace, who is the intern
12.
and also lover of Peter, which doesn't seem to be much of a secret, I don't think.
No, he kind of like says like, "Hey, like you're still an intern, like be careful," but everyone obviously knows. Candace looks like she's 12. It really bothers me.
It's just the like just the her cheeks, she just looks a little younger. And I was
Yeah,
confused, like an intern, like I was like, how old is she supposed to be? Is she a college intern?
she's a college student.
Okay,
Hmm. So I'm
got it.
assuming
That makes
Peter
sense.
is probably like mid 20s. He looks like he's no older than like 26.
You've got Nathan, who was just promoted to supervise the
Hmm.
warehouse
Hmm.
downtown, much to the chagrin
Downtown,
of,
underground, downtown.
is that what I said?
He said downtown.
Much to the chagrin of Roy and the
Oh.
union.
Whew.
Um, whatever, whatever. And then you also have Isaac, who is like just the company pervert.
Oh, he's the worst. Isaac is the
He
worst.
he's the worst. And as far as like, I feel like each movie you have some kind of just pervert shithead,
Hmm.
of the group. I think he's the worst of all of them, of all the movies. Like definitely
Yeah.
worse than who's the dude with his butt sucked out in the last one?
Damn, I don't remember his name. That's how unimportant he was.
Not even a worry.
Isaac is the worst, but he also doesn't really like he doesn't really fit with the other characters either. So he feels like much more of an outsider than the rest of this group, even though they don't seem super tight knit. He's like much further outside of that.
Now, like I said, spoiler alert, this movie is a prequel to the first
Mm-hmm.
one, which I think is cool, in the sense of if this was the last one, having it being a prequel to the first one, I don't know, you have that kind of
Hunt.
cyclical, nice hunt. Thank you. Um, Looking back on it now, knowing that this movie takes place in 2000, it makes a lot of sense. Now, like looking at everybody has like old flip phones and everyone's listening to Everclear.
Yeah, I couldn't believe I didn't notice that the first time that I the first time that I watched it because the phone technology is very different from 2000 to 2011. That alone. And they did a good job of like of with the fashion, but it does look a little bit more 2011, so I think they could have done a better job on that.
So then they get on the bus and they go across this bridge, shot in Vancouver. It's the Lionsgate Bridge, which the actual company Lionsgate that, distributed this movie, that's what it's named after, is that bridge.
Oh, there you go.
I've been to Vancouver a number of times. I've not been on that bridge, and I will continue to not
I
go on that
now I
bridge.
never want to go on this bridge.
Mm-mm. So we have our first premonition. Um, let's talk about it.
Mhm.
We don't have to rank them yet, but we can talk about them kind of in context with the others. Like what do you, or just in general, what do you feel works and what do you feel might not work about this opening?
Well, we get our song of the movie introduction in his premonition, which is Dust in the Wind. I love that there's always like a recurring theme of a song. I really hope they keep that for the new one. I really like this. This is very effective for me, much more than NASCAR, because every time every fucking time I have to drive over a bridge or an overpass, we actually talked about this recently with overpasses. Anything that is up in the air like that, and I'm in a vehicle, even if I'm walking, fuck a bridge. Absolutely not. If I can avoid them, I will. So this is very scary to me. I like a lot of the deaths that happen. I think my favorite is probably that tar splattering all over Dennis. That's pretty
That's really
good.
good.
Mm-hmm. And I think the special effects are much better in this one than the last.
Yes, definitely. It looks like they've got a better budget this time
Yeah.
around, or at least they were
Yeah.
able to spend more time on it. Because
Yeah.
now, granted, some of it does look still pretty cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I do like Candace getting impaled um on that sloop, but hmm, I don't know. Peter getting impaled a bunch and like his like eyeball
Oh,
kind of like
yeah.
getting dislodged.
It's when he
Um,
falls, though, that's the best for Peter because he falls and he hits the base of the bridge, and you just see that like blood like pop, and then he kind of falls into the ocean. That's pretty good too.
the worst ones are probably Nathan and Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a honorable mention to Olivia, who seems to have survived falling into the water and then looks up
Yes.
and sees the car land right on top of her. That's pretty good.
I think that the only thing that doesn't work for me as much is Sam is a lot more chill for a lot longer. Like he's not as concerned until he like is like right at the tail end of like danger is about to happen in 2 seconds. So, and also like leading up to these, like there's always that like something's wrong. I'm seeing little things that are standing out to me. I thought it was really interesting that one of them was him getting onto the bus. He looks down at the step and it says, "Watch your step." And I'm like, well, number one, all bus steps say that. And number two, like what does that have to do with a collapsing bridge? I
Right.
didn't like that. So I think that like anxiety and tension isn't built well leading up to all the danger, but I do love everything that happens once the danger is there.
On the video screens on the bus, you also have, I forget what sort of video this is, like a corporate video, I don't know, but it says 180 on it.
Yes, I noticed that too.
And then of course you've got the logging truck that drives past
Yeah.
the bus as well.
Yeah. Which is probably going to the paper mill.
I guess so, which I'm just like, I don't know why you would find that weird. Just be like, industry. I don't know. So he has this premonition, sees everyone die. The one important thing to remember is that Molly survives this premonition.
Mm-hmm. I mean, presumably because she could have died after him, so he wouldn't have seen that.
True.
Usually your premonition person is the last person to die.
Right. Which it makes sense if the idea is that Molly also would have died either way, because at least it
Mm-hmm.
kind of explains the ending a little better, because I
Mm-hmm.
still don't exactly understand how all that
Hey
adds
now,
up.
I think that this one makes more sense in terms of living within its own rules than a lot of the other sequels.
Yes, I agree. And that will get a half a boo. Definitely.
Yeah, like they're keeping track of order of death. They're keeping track of their rule that they enter into the fold of like a life for a life. So I appreciate that a lot in this one.
Me too.
Oh, and then okay, this is one thing that I take issue with. So Olivia and the consistency of how well she can see. Like, does this bitch need LASIK or not? Because she got out of that van pretty confidently without glasses and was walking around looking all hot. And then her man is like, hey, don't forget these. And she's like, oh, yeah. But then on the bridge, when she's not wearing her glasses, she's not even able to navigate like past, like, there's a car in front of me. So that feels a little bit silly. I didn't like that. Um, but it's fine because it ends up being fun.
Did she have the LASIK appointment scheduled before this happened or as a result of this happening? Because she even kind of says later on, like, I've got a new look in life or whatever, whatever. And the doctor's like, sure, I'm ready to bill your insurance. I'll say whatever you want.
Yeah, he mentions that she came for a consultation a really long time ago. And then he's like,
Mm,
"Oh, like what made you decide to finally like take the plunge?" So, which actually I think he does say take the plunge, which is funny because she plunges into the water.
that was
Um,
pretty good. Good catch.
but I'm assuming that that's what prompted it. Um I don't know that that would be something that would be triggered from a near death experience, but okay. Good for her.
So he talks the main cast off the bus. They see all the destruction that happens. And
Way faster in real time.
there's a lot of other people like crowded behind that group. And I was like, are they all supposed to die too? Or were they all always supposed to live? I don't know.
I
Were
think they
they
were supposed to be survivors. Like they're not on the
hmm,
bus. They were a completely different group.
we cut over to the police station. We're also introduced to Agent Block here, who is already, good on him. He's already just
Yeah.
very suspicious and like really
Yeah.
like trying to get information and just make connections that honestly aren't there. Especially like when he learns about like Molly wanting to break up with Sam, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Are you a terrorist? Are you doing this to get back at your girlfriend?"
Well,
You
I mean,
know?
okay. Okay. Think of it from his point of view, though. If
Yeah.
you're trying to find some reason that this happened, and you don't have all the facts yet because they eventually say that like there was a structural problem with the bridge due to the construction, but he doesn't have that information yet, and this guy's fucking saying that the bridge is going to collapse. I would think he definitely had something to do with it, had a change of heart, and was like, shit, I need to save this group of people. But I love that when he's questioning Molly and he asks how did Sam react to the breakup, and she's like, it's personal. I'm like, bitch, you're being questioned. Like, everything's personal. Answer the question. Like, what? This isn't a time for secrets and games. Get out of here. That frustrated me so much. But she probably was like, to be honest, he could have been sadder. I would have been like, he didn't cry. So
And
I don't
honestly,
think
he
he blew
should
up that
have.
bridge. Yeah, he should have.
Yeah.
She's like, he wasn't that upset. So I don't think he did this based off of that.
I'm kind of pretty important. Um,
Yeah.
so the fact that he didn't react means he's probably a sociopath and probably blew up that bridge. So I don't know. But yeah, like you said, turns out it's just high winds. Um,
Yeah.
and Block is like, you're fucking real? Really? No. Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. High winds, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be a terrorist attack.
He wanted it to be a little bit more like work fun for him.
Yeah. So they're released, and then they go to a memorial. Every one of these movies has your funeral memorial type.
Yeah.
Um, and I was curious. This is clearly very much for the employees that worked there, correct? This
Yes,
memorial.
this is a memorial run by the company, not the families.
So now my understanding, like if you're at a work retreat, you're on the clock, correct?
Yeah.
This is a sponsored work event, correct?
Hmm.
I shouldn't have to go if I don't want to, right?
I think they're on the clock.
Or I was gonna say, if you're on the clock and I get paid, then yeah, I'll go.
I think they're on the clock, like because they're all not going back to work right away, obviously, because everyone is dead but 8 people and the warehouse staff. So I would think, like, who are all those people that are sitting there? Even I'm assuming that's their family and friends of the dead coworkers, because like, who
Yeah.
else works there now?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like, I mean, they were all cleaning out boxes. They're getting boxes together at the end, and then even then, like I guess later on, Keckner's just like, well, they're just gonna close the upstairs office. There's none of us here anymore.
Yeah, there's nobody to work there. Like, we're not gonna rehire and train a bunch of fucking people. I do like that Dennis lists Isaac as a one of the victims,
Yeah,
even
it's
though
really
he's
funny.
still alive.
I like how, just corporate capitalism, right? Where maybe, and I think of like The Office too, right? In like a dying industry, like the paper industry or whatever, where corporate was like already figuring out reasons to close this branch.
Oh
And then
yeah,
they
for
find
sure.
out that I would say, we'll find out one of them if they had something to do with this bridge collapsing, right?
Uh-huh.
Because then everyone dies. I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. Guess we have to close the branch because everyone's dead, you know.
Yeah, that's true. And you only have to pay severance to 8 people.
And you only have to, or it's not, yeah, it's like, yeah, you pay severance to 8 people,
Little bereavement.
and you make sure that it doesn't, well, it does happen on work time, right? It doesn't happen, you can sue all the people to recoup whatever costs that the families are going to try to go after you with, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can sue the construction company, you can sue the bus company, right? Whoever
Mm-hmm.
leased that bus, or the bus driver, go after him and his family,
Aw.
take his house, right?
Bus driver's probably
Definitely.
dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's like it's just like Titanic and the captain. He's like, I'm staying with the bus. A bus driver stays with his bus as he plummets.
Oh, stupid.
It's so dumb. You also get William Bloodworth who shows up and just makes a vague
Yeah.
threat to them.
He's just
Um,
hanging out at the memorial.
well, and later on, when Sam's just like, "What are you doing in all these places?" And he's like, "Well, it's my work." And I'm like, "Well,
Not
your
at the
work is not to
memorial.
go." No, no, like maybe at the hospital, maybe at the scenes of the crimes, like whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, why is he just hanging out there? He just wanted to scope out the situation. He's like, oh, 8 survivors, huh?
Let's see who this works. Let's see who I need to be cleaning up after this.
Hmm.
Um, and he's just like, "Don't cheat death." And Sam's like, "What the fuck? Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah. But it is good because he gets to address like all of them as a group right up front. And they're all are pretty nervous too. Like I think far
Yeah.
more nervous as a group than any other movies that we've watched so far.
When the group's talking afterwards. And they're saying, well, the bridge collapsed due to natural causes. And Olivia goes, supernatural causes.
Yeah.
Anytime I get an opportunity going forward, I'm gonna be
Just
in the
gonna steal that.
hospital and they're gonna be like, hey, Kyle, you're this family member, passed away, but it was peacefully and it was of natural causes. I'm just gonna go, or supernatural causes. I love that. I don't know.
I hope you do.
Half a boo for that one. If anyone's keeping
Oh,
track,
okay.
adding up during
Okay.
this episode.
You're at least one boo.
That would be terrible if well, actually that'd be pretty fun. I'm not organized enough to do it to actually add up my booze as I go. So
I'm
at the
not
end,
organized enough for that at all.
no.
No.
So like I said, Sam also works. I don't know what his official title is. I don't know if he's a line cook necessarily, but he works in this restaurant and he is responsible for certain dishes, right? Because,
Hmm.
someone from the restaurant comes back and says this is shit. They say it's bland. But,
Wasn't there like I've never worked in a kitchen, so please don't judge me if I'm wrong, but you've got a head chef who is the guy who offered him the internship.
yes,
And then you've got he
a
can't just
sous
be the
chef.
yeah, well, he can't just be the only one cooking meals though, because your sous chef is prepping food, not actually cooking.
Okay.
Okay. So then you have all the other guys that are cooking too. So I think Sam's that in-between chef, we'll call it.
Mm,
He's an in-between chef. And I didn't think he was that attractive, but as soon as he puts on his little chef uniform and that little black hat situation, I was like, okay, okay, Sam, you're looking better in the restaurant industry than the paper industry. I'll take it.
it's a good look on him. And Molly probably
Yeah.
realizes it too. That's why she's just like, hey, Sam, like she says, he goes to her apartment after this. Um,
Oh, Molly. I have I have so many fucking thoughts about Molly. You let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. So he goes to Molly's place, and he's like, "Hey, I want to talk. Don't think I forgot that you were trying to break up with me." And what better way to leverage this trauma that we've all experienced than to try to use it to stay with my girlfriend?
No. Mm-mm. Here's the thing. They're both stupid, so we'll just start there. But
Yes.
Molly, Molly. Molly breaks up with him because of this opportunity he gets offered in Paris. And she wants him to go, right? Like she doesn't want him to stay because of her. But here's the thing. If you really loved him and wanted to be with him, you would find a way to make it work, whether it's long distance or you going to Paris or whatever the fuck it is. So that's an excuse. Obviously, she just wanted to break up with him. But where I also take issue, and maybe this did happen later in the movie, but he saved her life. He saved her life after she broke up with him. I would have pushed that bitch right off the side of the bridge and been like, you wanted to break up. I guess we're not holding hands, are we? So the least she could do, and this is what I would do. I'm not saying that any other woman should do this. I would fuck him for saving my life. I wouldn't get back together with him, but I'd be like, you know what? I'll give you one last hurrah just for the life saving after I broke up with you. That's my thoughts on Molly. I think Sam is fine.
I think Sam would take that deal. He'd be like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But
And I go to
stand your
Paris.
ground. But she should have stood her ground if she really wanted to break up with him.
So we get to our first post premonition death, which is at this gym where
Mm.
it's not like a gym meet that's happening or a competition, but it looks like a practice of some sort where
Hmm.
so Candace is interning at this paper company, but then also is a gymnast. Um,
They all have side hustles, big
yeah.
hobbies.
This is a fun death. I
It's
like this
so
one.
fun. Yeah.
Now, granted, I just lament um how little we invest in our public schools. Well, I mean, this is a university, but still,
Yeah.
or wherever this arena was on campus, because you got that old leaky, shaky, spooky air conditioning thing up top.
Well, it
You got
wasn't working for a
wires all over
minute.
the place. Yeah,
Yeah, she says it's too hot. So let's not forget who asked for the AC to be turned back on because
true.
clearly it wasn't working. So there's a reason why it was off. Like cooling units aren't supposed to be leaking liquids. And as soon as you see that, as someone who's not actively doing gymnastics, just standing there observing, you'd be like, oh shit, there's water falling from the sky and screws. Perhaps we should take a little break, right?
And then let me move some of these cables that are just like,
Yes,
that are
frayed
trip hazards.
wires. Yeah, so many terrible things happening here.
It's pretty good because I just like the tension of it all. I think it builds
Mm,
pretty well,
mhm.
and you get, oh geez, I just keep calling it that like Home Alone bit where it's just like someone just steps on a
Oh,
nail or a screw or something, and then just kind of how quickly the whole thing happens. And I do
so
like,
quick.
as goofy as her like flips kind of look as she like goes. I just love that, her just
Oh,
landing and just snapping her neck and her spine and just like other bones just protruding out. It's just such a perfect,
it's really fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like the lead up to it of thinking she's gonna step on that screw when she's on I forget what that bar is called that they like walk and twirl on. But
Balance beam.
yeah, there you go, the balance beam. And she's on that. So you just keep seeing her feet just get so close to it, just dancing around it. It's so stressful. But then it's the other girl that ends up stepping on it. And ultimately, like she's the one kind of who kills Candace, really, when she falls into that the chalk thing for their hands. But I really, really enjoy her kill. And something that I really like about this movie, which starts here, is that you don't have your main couple going around chasing and following death, trying to get ahead of it and witnessing every kill like we did in the last two films. You get like one witness to each kill.
Technically, they all come in to find Olivia.
Yeah, but
I guess
that's
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 kind of
the
it.
only one I think that's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoy that aspect of it too. But yeah, I really like Candace's death.
At the hospital, you've got the scene between Peter and Sam. Peter, who watched all of this happen in real time, is pretty
Ooh,
shaken up. I get
he's
that.
traumatized.
I know. And you're just kind of like, they make him out like he is like the villain and kind of also had this American Psycho-ness to him already. But I don't know. Yeah, hey, I kind of see where he'd kind of end up how he ended up, And then also, if anything, I'm just like, oh, he really did love her. So he wasn't like just fooling around with the intern, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Oh, so and even though Candace, yeah, would slut shame and fat shame, like, come on, get the fuck out of here,
Even though she
Candace.
was kind of mean.
Mm. So, you also have Bloodworth again. Makes much more sense that he's here because he's the coroner.
Hmm.
But he doesn't say anything. He's just in the corner. Sam does notice him, and he's just like, "It's that fucker again. What
Hmm.
is going on here?" Um,
Tony Todd's looking real good in this movie too.
yeah, he is. He's looking
Yeah,
great.
love him in a long coat.
Oh yeah, 100%. So everyone's at work the next day. I guess they're like cleaning out desks, or I think they're all taking just bereavement time. I don't know. I don't know exactly
Yeah.
what's going on because nobody's there anymore except for the few people that survived, right?
Yeah, they're definitely not working. And again, Molly just being the absolute worst. She's like, it's weird being here. It's so quiet. Yeah, girl, everybody's fucking dead. Like, what do you expect? I just like, come on. I don't know why they're there, what they're doing, because they are dressed in work attire. They're not dressed like in their off time clothes, I guess you could say. Oh, and Peter is working because he's lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olivia's just like, I don't know. You think I was going to bound to happen eventually. You know, look what she does. Gymnasts, don't they all just die all the fucking time? I mean, It's probably a little safer than she presumes
It's
doing gymnastics is.
it's more likely that she'd get an injury
Sprain an
like more
ankle.
frequently than actually like die. But I mean, I was thinking about that too because I was like, okay, you're probably not going to die from doing gymnastics, but you might injure yourself. But, there is that saying like you die by what you live by. Like if by frequency you're doing this thing repeatedly over and over again, like your statistics are going to go in a certain direction.
Right? That's what I was thinking when Peter was like, how could she die? She did something that she loved. She did it every single day. And I'm like,
Yeah.
cough cough, Amelia Earhart, the
Yeah.
crocodile hunter,
Yeah.
Tiny Tim,
Yeah.
I think he died at a ukulele festival. So I mean, come on.
But
Now,
yeah, like whatever you're doing the most frequently is probably what's going to get you.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Isaac, meanwhile, is just walking around reading through people's shit. Um,
What a weirdo.
what a weirdo. He also comes across a certificate for a massage parlor or salon
Mhm.
or something, that's
Yeah.
nearby. Again, now knowing that this takes place before the first one, you can see on the expiration that it expires 2001. But
Oh,
then I'm like,
I didn't notice that. But you could have probably gotten away with using an expired paper gift certificate to a local place.
I think in California, isn't there like the law that like even like expired gift cards like can still be used for some amount?
I think it's that they can't actually expire.
Got it.
Hmm. Fun fact too, you can cash out your gift cards in the state of California. A lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people who work for retailers don't even know that, but it is the law that they have to cash it out for you if you ask. Isn't
So
that
someone just
crazy?
rolls into the store you work at with just $500 in gift cards and he's like, I'm good. I'm done. No,
People do
thank you.
shit like that. It has happened before.
It
Yeah.
used to be where it was like under a certain amount. I know this is exciting for everybody, but
Yeah.
I thought it was like if it was like $5 or under, $10 or under, then you could. But is it
That's
just a
like
free for all?
that's more like a company policy thing because technically you could just ask for the whole thing to be cashed out, but like they'll say like, "Oh, if it's under $5, we have to give you cash back." Speaking of under $5, Isaac also I I could have seen this wrong, but he takes change like out of a mug out of someone's drawer.
Yeah,
And I
he's
was
an
like, "Are you
asshole.
really that hard up for cash, man, that you're like stealing like 76 cents in nickels and dimes? What are you doing?"
Yeah,
You can't make 76 cents with just nickels and dimes.
no. So he takes the certificate and he's like, well, I'm just going to get this massage now. Who cares what else I got going on? I'm going to use this
Yeah,
today.
they're not
So
working. They're all drinking at the office. So he's actually being more responsible, except for
that's
the
true.
theft.
Well, yeah. But if they're dead, is it really theft? I don't
Hmm.
know. Yeah, it is.
It sure is. That shit
So
belongs
he
to their loved ones.
so he leaves. Olivia also has her appointment for laser eye surgery. So
Ugh.
she leaves, not before knocking off that picture, and you have the cracked glass right over her face.
Hmm.
Yeah. So she takes off, and then
Did you
also,
did you
uh,
notice anything else about the picture?
no, why
It's
were
a
they like
picture
a
of her and a friend after riding that roller coaster from the third one.
mm,
It like says like the name of the roller coaster and has the same little logo that was on the
that
front of the roller coaster. They
that's
referenced
silly.
Final Destination 1, 2, and 3 already.
And oh, okay. And at some point they do reference the fourth one towards the end of the movie.
When?
Only a little bit. When they're at the memorial for Roy at the end, there's like pictures of him, and like one he's like at like the speedway or he's at like the
Oh, yes,
racetrack or
yes,
something.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
think.
Hmm.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it's something
That
similar.
feels right. Yeah.
So Peter, very, very upset, throws a glass. He also takes off. And then this is when we focus more predominantly on Isaac
Mm.
over at the massage parlor and
Hmm.
his death. This is also a pretty fun one.
Hmm.
Originally, I watched on the Blu-ray DVD commentary, or no, the special features
Oh, fun.
rather, that he was just gonna catch fire and then after falling, and then that was going to be it. So whereas in the one that we finally see on the in the final version, he avoids getting set up in flames, but then has the Buddha crush his head.
which is funny because he also weight shames Buddha,
Yeah, I know.
which I'm like, what? He's the worst. I wrote down
Oh
some
yeah.
fun things that he said. So he asks, I love that he just straight up asks for an erotic massage. Like he's
Uh-huh.
not even trying to like code anything, which also makes me feel like, okay, clearly, Isaac, you've never done this before.
Do you think
Um,
he is actually talking to somebody on the phone, either on the bus and then also in, or is he just doing that to look cool and look like he's in demand?
whoa, whoa,
He's playing chess.
what the fuck?
That's my theory.
I had not even thought about that because yeah, he is very if that is what he's doing, he's a really good actor. I'm buying it. Like I'm buying what he's selling if that's what he's doing for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he is really confident and really sleazy. So I could see that being being the case for sure. Let's pretend that that is what's happening.
I
Uh,
hate saying this and repeating this out
do
loud,
you want me to say it
but
instead? I know what you're talking about.
go for it.
Yum yum dim sum.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's awful. I know. I was like, can you imagine being this fucking woman? I she's so much kinder than I would be in that situation. Like I've had people say really inappropriate things to me in my workplace, and when you're in customer service, it's so much worse because you're expected to react positively. So I think she's actually quite kind to him considering the circumstances. Because I would have been like, you need to get the fuck out. Like you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
There's a line. But she probably deals with that every day and is so callous to it, which is really sad.
And then she's like, I'm gonna set you up with the bone breaker. That's why we have that
Uh-huh.
woman in the back.
Yeah, like
Just
he deserves the physical assault massage for sure.
yeah. And then it's a little, it's a little ageist where it's like, the comedy comes from like, oh man, look at this old lady
I know
touching me.
she's
What is this
beautiful.
about? Yeah.
She's very rough with him, though. I will say that.
Yeah. I love her just breaking his bones and shit like that. But then
Hmm.
even towards the end, he's like, oh, actually, that does feel pretty good.
Oh God, and then he makes that terrible comment of like I don't remember how many people he says, but like 1,000 like or so people couldn't be Wong. And he like points out to her, and
Yeah.
he's like, see what I did there, Wong? And she's like, yeah, I think I fucking get it. Like, I was like, Jesus, they really like same with the last one. Like, we really had to get that racism in there.
I would have never done acupuncture before this movie.
Oh, me either. I know a lot of people who have done acupuncture and have like tried to persuade me to try it. And I'm like,
Is it like
no.
stress release? Like, is that kind of what it does?
No, I'm gonna try my best to. I'm gonna give a really short description of what
I love it.
how other people have explained acupuncture to me. So there's acupressure and then there's acupuncture. So acupressure is when you don't actually penetrate the skin and they're like putting pressure on different points to relieve pain and
Hmm.
to like basically it's mainly for pain is the biggest thing. So once you get into acupuncture, those needles are meant to hit certain like nerves and pressure points in order to create relief in other places. And I don't know this for sure, but one thing that the dentist explained to me that I thought was really funny because I said I had a like a cavity and I kept pressing on my gums because it like felt better. And he's like, yeah, if you put pressure somewhere else or put like you distract your brain from the pain receptors with other feeling. So I wonder if that has something to do with how acupuncture works. But that's basically the short version of acupuncture. And if I explained it completely wrong, please someone let me know.
That's okay. I'm gonna counter with something that also could be totally wrong too. But on that same
Perfect.
page,
The
I was
research
embarrassed.
team is not here.
Yeah, long gone. And because I remember, I don't know where I heard this before, but like if you have a toothache, take an ice cube and just hold it, like squeeze it in between
Mm.
like your thumb and your index finger. And but again, it's that idea. It's just like you're just like kind of diverting,
Hmm.
nerve receptors, right? And just like trying to, you know, that's it's like major pain, right? You know, where he's just
Me
like,
of
hey,
major pain.
I do. It's been a while though.
Yeah,
He's
and
like,
the
you know
same.
what'll distract you from that pain? And he breaks his hand. I love it.
Yeah, the same thing works for your feet. So there's different pressure points on the bottom of your foot that directly correlate apparently to every different part of your body to help relieve pain, stress, all those things. So, yeah, acupressure and acupuncture have a lot of science behind them. Not enough for me to stick fucking needles into my face or my chest or
Nope.
anything because the way Isaac's face is looking after he falls off of that bed is absolutely terrifying, but also really good
Yeah.
practical effects.
Yeah, I watched the behind the scenes where they had like kind of the prosthetic chest and it's
Ugh.
really good. Oh, just him
Oh,
pulling each of
oh,
it,
when
trying
he
to pull them
pulls it
out.
out. Ugh. No.
Oh.
No, thank you.
So meanwhile, we're over back. I said they've been drinking over at the this paper company. I
Hmm.
hope they actually do work at a paper company because I keep calling it that.
It
So
says, I
you
think
said
it
it does,
says
right?
paper on their logo.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this is when Peter's like, hey, why can't we have both? I want you and I also want Paris. Let's go to
Hmm.
Paris.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't brought this up before. And she's like,
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
exactly.
Okay.
Which also, Molly,
Mhm.
is is this what you were trying to accomplish with the breakup? Because he didn't ask. So you were like, this is your indirect way of giving an ultimatum. That's some passive aggressive shit right there. Again, points
It
against
worked.
Molly. Yeah, it
No.
worked. Sure.
So then they hear about Isaac. Word gets around really fast. I don't know where
Yeah.
they got a
But
hold
yeah,
of them first.
Peter like pops up and he's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Someone
S-
immediately called me about Isaac.
Yeah. And so they go to the massage parlor. He's dead. And then this is when they find Bloodworth again. This is when he reveals
Hmm.
he's the coroner. And
Hmm.
this is when he kind of lays the score for the team.
He's so
Um,
cool though, the way that he like reveals he's the coroner. Like he's like,
yeah.
"It's my job," and then immediately like turns around and flashes the jacket, and I was like, "Ah, you smooth motherfucker."
Yeah, he
I
looks good in
love
that
it.
jacket.
Yes.
Um, he's not here to play the game. He's just there to clean up afterwards. Which I'm like, that
Mhm.
sounds like a sad lot in life, you know?
Yeah.
You just gotta
Yeah.
like clean up after deaths, just
I mean,
gruesome and all the gruesome shit too.
which kind of still makes me feel like he is a reaper because
Hmm.
I mean, my at least the way I've seen it and read it and interpreted it is that the reaper isn't the one that's actually doing the killing. It's just the collector, so to speak.
He also adds a new wrinkle, which I appreciate in this one. I like this. The
Mm,
idea that the only way to cheat death successfully is to kill someone else
I love that.
to which you absorb whatever life they have
Mhm.
remaining. I'm like, okay,
How easy would it be for you to murder
killer
someone to
baby.
keep your own life?
Oh, very.
Very easy. You'd go straight for a baby, huh?
Oh my God, you go into a hospital, they all look the same anyway. No one's gonna be able to tell who's who.
I want you to really think about how unnecessary that is because you don't need like 76 more years of life. Like that's not going to work out for you. So you could just kill someone who's of a similar age or maybe like 10 or 20 years younger.
I could, but
You're like the
I
baby's
guess,
useless.
and then I'm like, does this only pertain to people who were part of Death's design and cheated it, and that's how they get life back? Or is this just a general rule that you murder someone and you take their length of life? Is that just a general rule, or is that connected specifically to this?
No, I think it needs to be directly connected
Hmm.
with you cheating death because otherwise like people who are murderers would be living real long lives. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think you can just take just take time as much as you want.
Well, but I guess my whole thing is because you can kill someone that's not even involved in this, it'd
Hmm.
be one thing maybe if you killed like one of the
Yeah, okay.
survivors of which it makes sense why maybe like they, fucking Sam, of course, like always has to fucking, say it out loud, like, Molly, you survived this actually,
I
just to be
know.
like, why you gotta make it such a big deal, man?
He,
Like, why you gotta
he
put a target on my back?
I know he really does. Like, not surprised by anything that happens later in the movie because he keeps pointing that out. But damn, does he have that pussy on a pedestal? Like, he is just worshiping that girl. It's a lot.
So then they're like, okay, we need to go tell Olivia. So Sam, okay, my name's right. Okay,
Hmm.
Sam, Molly, and Nathan go to that
Nathan
LASIK
went
appointment.
too?
I thought he did, but maybe it was just no, you're right, because Nathan's still
No,
that
I
whole thing
think
with
it's
Roy happens afterwards. Sorry.
yeah.
I get it mixed up. So Sam and Molly go to try and warn Olivia.
Mm.
Um, and then I guess in the meantime, um, Peter feels very compelled to go talk to Dennis about it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're having their conversation, and then meanwhile, we're at Olivia's death at the LASIK or laser eye surgery appointment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh.
I know people who've done this before and they always swear by it.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Some
know a lot
do.
of people who've had it done.
I feel like they always like have to just like make sure to say it more pointedly to me because I have glasses.
Uh-huh.
And like this idea of like you need to do it too. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, like they're
Again,
trying to convert everybody.
just like acupuncture, you know, before this movie came out, no, I'm not putting goddamn lasers in my eyes.
Uh-uh.
No, of course not. And first of all, I think I look kind of cute with glasses. So it's, and honestly, so did Olivia. I think she looked better with
I
them,
think she looked better with the glasses too.
you
So
know.
I don't wear glasses. So I don't have any like real opinions on whether or not I would do LASIK, but I don't think I would mind wearing glasses. So you would not do it, is what you're saying. I was going to ask you if you would ever do
Oh,
LASIK.
I wouldn't even wear contacts. I don't even
You
like
don't want to put
that
your
shit
finger
touching
near your
my.
eye.
No, I don't want anything touching my eyeball, let
No, the
alone a
glasses look
contact
good.
lens or a laser.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
glasses they suit you. Like they look nice
Aw,
on you. So I agree. I don't think I would recognize you without them. I'd be upset. So you can stick with that. I don't want your eye to pop out like that little teddy bear.
you. This death does kind of give me vibes of the dentist scene in
Yes.
Final Destination 2.
But
Um,
this doctor's so much worse than that dentist for
yeah,
so many reasons. Like, you're really gonna put that fucking metal thing on her eye and then leave the room?
I
At least
know.
take that out of her eye. Like, you can leave her head in that thing, but even then, I would be like, you know what? Let's make you comfortable while I figure out this file situation. Like, we're not in a rush here.
Yeah, let's figure out all the shit we can bill you for
Yeah.
and
Ew,
um
and he says, "Atta girl," when he's like
ugh,
fixing the head thing. He's like, "Ah, atta girl, that's it." And I was like, "Ew, don't
ugh,
say that. Gross."
like that.
Mm-mm.
Now, I like that this is different in the sense where, obviously you've got some, I like the laser cutting into her eyeball. That's really fun.
Mhm.
I do think Death, you're a little lazy. Like how many times are you going to pour cups of water on an electrical socket and call it a day?
Seriously, yeah.
So okay. Yeah, her slipping on the and then again, you've got that fake out, just like with the dentist one, because you think that that's what's going to do them in, whether
Mhm.
it's lasers to the eye or choking on a blowfish or something. I forget exactly. But you have your group, they come in and they're like, hey, she's in danger. She's in danger. Doctor's like,
Mhm.
what are you talking about? I do this shit all the time. I'm surprised she didn't start screaming immediately because, like, when
Yeah.
she starts screaming, they can hear her and they go in.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, she's able to get out the teddy bear that she had that she was holding, she slips on its eye
Mhm.
and then just the weakest glass ever.
I
And she
know.
just
I'm like,
crashes right through.
that girl like is like what, 100 pounds like soaking wet? Like I don't think she would have been breaking that glass.
And then a death where like someone falls and then you have that like hit and then roll over, you know.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
Olivia's dead.
And her eye.
The eyeball, and it can't just be the eyeball.
Mm-mm.
And the car's got to come by and squish it
Yep.
because these movies are unrelenting and they don't care.
Yeah.
I
And it's 3D.
And it's 3D. I love a good eyeball squish always.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Poor Olivia. Just like the bear.
Agent Block is like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Um,
I like that he's like, I know you didn't do this, but like you've got to fucking throw me a bone here.
I do appreciate that. They try to explain to him, they're like, we don't know what's going on. If anything, I would be like, you need to go to the hospital and talk to the coroner. He just started
Yes.
saying some wild ass shit, saying he knew
Yes.
exactly what was going on. You need to talk to him. Like, I don't know if he's
That's
like a
true.
ghost where he'll go and be like, oh, there is no coroner here. It's some other guy. I don't
That's what I
know.
was thinking. It
But
was like, go talk to the coroner. And he's like, what coroner?
so then Molly's like, hey, can you stay in my place? Sam's just
Mm,
like, I knew
of
you'd
course.
ask.
Yeah, of course.
I still got it. And the next morning, he's up earlier and he's kind of scribbling down some stuff. She asks what's going on. He says that he realized that there's an order. And he starts
Hmm.
remembering the order in which people were dying as premonition, realizes that that's the order that people are dying in real life.
Oh
We've seen
shit.
this over and over and over. We get it.
But
I
this
get
one
that.
actually matches because, like, the second, third, and fourth, I think were all kind of all over the place.
I think it mostly made sense. I think maybe he got a little fuzzy towards the end, or he or she or they, whoever was having the premonition
Hmm.
at the time. But yeah. So while putting that list together, he realizes Nathan's next. They then head over back to the warehouse where you've got, a clearly flustered Nathan,
So
right?
much danger in that warehouse.
So much danger. He's there watching the cameras. He's like, everyone's mad at me. I think someone wrote fuck you on their time card. Of course, it's Roy.
I love it.
Um, and he's like, we need to talk. He tries to, put on the big supervisor pants and he's like,
Mm.
I don't like how this movie, it's not anti-union. No, I think the union's strong in this, and I appreciate they stick together on this. And they love each other, they love Roy. But I do appreciate that Nathan's like, hey, I want to try and win him over. We're gonna see what we can do.
Yeah, he does say that. Yeah.
But do you think it was really an accident that he killed Roy? I'm like, he kind of,
I mean, it feels really convenient, and he did push him.
yes.
So even if he didn't intend for him to die, that's really not a safe place to be pushing people around. I feel like he could have gotten fired for that. He probably should have gotten fired, like, especially because Roy does end up dying, but Roy did have it coming. He was a dick.
Yeah. Anne did use a slur earlier on too.
Oh
So
yeah, he
Roy,
says the R word, right?
like, come on, Roy, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
it's good. I like watching the hook go like through
Yeah.
his, jaw and then out through his
Ah, it's
skull,
like just like that little tiny point just poking out of his head like a little devil horn. It's
just the
yeah.
tip. Yeah, just
Yeah,
like a little
just
devil
the
horn. I
tip.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And Nathan's safe.
and Nathan's, yeah, safe as far as we know, at
Mhm.
least according to Bloodworth's rules.
Yeah.
Um, the group convenes at this accident where they're still, I think, cleaning up like the blood and shit, or like the body's still hanging there. And, of course, Peter's like impressed. He's like, oh, so how'd that
He's like,
feel?
yeah, he's like, you kill him? What was that like?
Yeah, talk me through that. You feeling good, rejuvenated? Are you feeling like any regrets? Because I don't know if I'm gonna have any. Like Peter's the second that Bloodworth was like, you got to kill somebody. Peter's just like already like, okay, I'm gonna start thinking about this.
Who he's like going through his Rolodex, like, who do I hate? I do think Nathan doesn't feel as guilty as one normally would for something like that. Like he definitely has that aura about him, like, I dodged a bullet. This worked out for me. He doesn't seem super guilty, but he claims that, yeah, he didn't do it on purpose. I think it's a little bit of both.
They're like, maybe we can bust this union in the process, you know? Just keep killing them at the top. I don't know. Um, this was pretty funny. Because you also, meanwhile, like I said, upstairs you had Peter talking to Dennis, kind of explaining what was going on.
I love that
Dennis is
he's just
not buying
losing
it.
it.
Yeah. Um, they all go downstairs, they're like, oh fuck, okay, looks like you're gonna be okay. Um, who's next? And then, or no, it was Dennis comes down and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And then the wrench, this is
Because
also
Peter says, "Who's
technically
next?" Like right before he gets hit with the wrench.
right. Yeah, who's next? The wrench flies off. That was a pretty good one. It's a good effect when they shoot back on his head. It looks
Yeah, it
good.
looked pretty good. And I just love that Sam immediately is like, Dennis, Dennis is next.
And
Like,
then my
thank
favorite is
you.
when Nathan goes, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking clearly.
Yeah, that whole exchange, the timing on that is all really good.
So then this is where the movie, I feel like, well, granted, it's 90 minutes, so you needed to cut something, but like, I feel like this movie almost like skips like half an act where you have this part where you're thinking like, oh my God, this is very serious and these rules are
Hmm.
true. We learned that this order is real. We
Yeah.
know who's coming next. But no, Sam's like, they're back at Molly's, and he's
Hmm.
like, fuck it. I'm going to Paris. I'm gonna live my life.
Well, he's like, I'm gonna go to work still.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep living my life. I'm good. I'm not gonna react to this. And, hey, fucking Isaac died on a massage table. Like anyone's gonna die anywhere, and I'm just gonna go do
I
my
mean,
thing. Like,
he's not wrong.
so I do appreciate where you like instead of like really trying to the very end, like in each of these movies with their main
Hmm.
protagonists, Sam's just like sees a couple of deaths and he's just like, I've seen enough. I'm good. I'm just gonna just take stock in what I got and just see how long I last.
Yeah, he's like, I can't not go to work. Like, I'll lose the internship. So, got to keep that going. And then, like, tells her to come by later for dinner. Like, I wouldn't want to leave anyone by themselves, especially Precious Molly.
I know, but he's just like, hey, I'm gonna go to work.
Hmm.
I get free reign after hours, so you should come by.
Yeah.
I'll make you dinner.
Yeah. I love these moments where he goes, like, he's like, oh, I'm going to go to work all confidently. But then when he's in the kitchen, he's like, fuck, like you start to realize like all these like everyday things that seem really mundane are actually super dangerous. Like a kitchen is fucking dangerous, especially a restaurant kitchen where like they're clearly working with a lot of meat because they've got a meat slicer, they've got that roasting poker thing that comes in handy later. But
You got all the frying oil and shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he's looking pretty nervous, but yet once like Molly enters the fold, he has every fucking candle in that restaurant lit. That's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
If I was like the cleaning crew at this restaurant, I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing? What is going on? Why are we just letting this fucking kid
Yeah,
have free reign over this place?
he's
He
telling
gets to
us
keep the
not to blow out
kitchen
the
going.
candles.
So I assume he's got to deep clean that whole kitchen and shut it down afterwards. Like, I don't know. Like, what's
Well,
going
they
on?
did all the team, um the chef team, we'll call them. The chef team
Uh-huh.
did their whole like cleaning routine and then he's like, "Is it cool if I stay and like cook a meal?" And he's like, "Yeah, as long as you clean up like afterwards." So he just has to clean up his mess. Because technically they just have to meet their like nightly cleaning standard, right? Like working with food and then he can as long as they do it, then you're good. Check the boxes, I think. I've never worked in a restaurant. I'm just making this up.
Yeah, I like him walking through and just being like all the sharp shit and all the stuff that
Oh,
could burn him alive.
yeah.
All just the very just painful things. Um, he accepts this internship officially, tells the
Hmm.
chef like, "Hey, I'm down if you're down.
Very cute
Um,
moment.
let's clown." And then also like with all this talk of Paris throughout this movie, it's I don't know. I guess I'm thinking like, how did I not know this was going to be a prequel? Like,
I know. I feel
why
so
else?
dumb. I felt
Yeah,
so dumb when I like first figured out that twist. I was like, what the fuck? But you know what? It was effective in that way because they're giving you so many obvious hints and you
yeah.
don't even catch it at all.
Molly shows up for dinner. They're talking.
Mhm.
Um, and then Peter arrives.
Oh, looking
Peter's
real rough.
real rough. Looks like he's been drinking a little bit. Looks like he's been
Mhm.
contemplating some dark shit.
Not shaving.
No. Sam's like, okay, man, you can come in. You want some food? You want to sit down? You want a drink?
Yeah.
And Peter's just like, yeah, just thinking a lot about if I could kill somebody and suck their life force away,
Chugs a glass of wine, which is like one of the most painful things to watch.
like a human Kirby, just suck you up and I just become you and take your life force. And he's like, I think I could. So
Yeah.
let me talk you through my evening. And everyone's like, what
What?
is going
Well,
on?
it's like, okay, bro, like calm down because you think you could, yet you got stage fright. Like you didn't do it. That woman in front of the bus, he could have easily just pushed her right out there. That would have been his best option. Why does he have to kill his friend's girlfriend?
Performance anxiety is a real thing. And then also, I think that he was just like, well, no, he was just like, hey, I realize that this person doesn't deserve it. These other people don't. I don't know why he keeps harping on the fact that he thinks that like Molly should be in the same situation like the rest of them. Like, I get it where it's not her fault. She was like,
It's not.
why am I catching strays? It wasn't in my fucking premonition that I survived.
Yeah.
I did not dream this up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What the fuck do you want me to do? Like Molly's, I don't know. So Peter's going, he's
He
a little
really
out of
fucking
sorts.
hates her. Like he
Yeah.
really hates her.
It just pulls out a gun. He's like, but I'm gonna shoot you. This is what I'm gonna
Honestly,
do.
with how I feel about Molly, I would rather her get shot than the girl getting hit by the bus. And I know nothing about her. She seemed like she was just enjoying her evening.
Yeah, just trying to stay safe while crossing the street.
Yeah.
Um, he's just like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna take your life. I'm gonna fucking take your boyfriend while I'm at it.
Hmm. Oh, you know what is really funny though? When he's talking about everyone who didn't deserve to die, he doesn't list Isaac.
That's funny.
I think that's really fun. Like he's like, yeah, that guy did deserve to die.
So this is where you have your whole chase scene through the kitchen. They run in the kitchen.
Feels
Peter
very
goes after
thriller.
them. Yeah, it has this very thriller vibe to it.
Hmm.
When the
With
gunshots go off, you don't realize that Agent Block is actually still trailing them and is parked across the street from the restaurant. He
Mhm.
hears the shots go off and goes inside to investigate.
Yeah. Good on him for being like ahead of the curve there. But I like and don't like that it turns into this like thriller. You've got a human threat, but then you also have death doing like wonky little things at the same time, like putting guns on open flames and shit like that. So it's a lot going on, but it seemed like that was Peter's path. Like that's where he was headed.
It's kind of like Final Destination 3, where like this you get this, secondary villain in
Mm-hmm.
the McKinley guy in the end, and then you also have Peter in this one. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I would have liked to maybe have seen I wanted the whole group to get in on trying to murder people. Like I think that'd be really fun. They just have
Just
to create this.
more of them like getting on board with that.
I think that'd be fun. Like really like expand that idea that they have to kill other people.
Well, even like Sam and Molly like don't even, you know, when he's just saying like, "Oh, I'm just going to go to work and everything's going to be fine." Like he doesn't even consider the possibility of just murdering someone else. Like maybe go to
Yeah.
like an old folks home. Oh wait, no, because you want their time. Damn it. I was like, you can just get somebody who's like right on their way out.
What they need to
Don't
do
want that.
is they'd have to sync it perfectly is they kill each other at the same time. And so they just keep switching life back
No,
and forth. I don't think that
that's not
works.
gonna work.
Sounds so romantic though, doesn't it? Um, so yeah, Peter's not happy. He's just like, this is the only way out. There's no reason that you deserve to live when we're all allegedly, deserving to die.
Mhm.
She tries to grab a knife. Block shows up. He's like, what's going on? He dies immediately.
Yeah, not
He
there
gets
for very
shot.
long.
This is where you have this kind of break for a second. Um,
Yeah, Peter got what he wanted.
yeah. But then Peter's like, well, also, I need to kill you because now you've witnessed me murder somebody, so I do have to kill you
Yeah.
all. Now, then I'm wondering what the rules are here, where it does, if he kills Block and
Hmm.
then kills Molly afterwards,
Mm.
or does it's just a one-time refresh or something? Does he only get Block's time and that's it? Or
Yeah,
if he killed Molly afterwards, does he get Molly's? Not in addition to, I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm not trying to be greedy,
we're
but
not adding years on years.
replace. Because I do like the idea of like someone's like, I don't know, I just killed 50 people thinking I'm just gonna live forever
No,
as a
I
result. I
think
don't know.
whoever the way that Bloodworth explained it, it sounded very much like a life for a life. It's a one-time trade, the same way that you dodge that death once. So Block is older than him, so there's that. But I
I
mean, I
got
think it's good. Yeah, I think it's fine. I just care so little about Molly
yeah.
that when she's in danger, like I feel no sense of like worry. Like I would rather Peter make it out of this situation than her. It would be more interesting, honestly. But I do like there's a part where Peter's chasing after Molly and Sam just fucking like pops out of the wall. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like where was he? Where did he come from?
He knows this kitchen better than any of the three of them. So
But
he probably
like
knows where all the secret passages and
I'm
hiding
like,
spots are.
was he
I don't
like
know.
on a shelf? Like like
Yeah.
just ready to pop out? Like it's just such a weird shot. It feels really silly. I did like it though. It made me laugh. Cause I
And then right before Peter is about to kill Molly, that little poker roast thing goes right through.
Mhm.
You got to have a good kind of 3D-ish kill
Yeah,
at the end,
of
right?
course. Of course.
Um, to then kill um, Peter, to which Sam asked the same question I immediately was thinking. He's like, "Do I have Block's life now? How does this work?"
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's a great question. I would think he had whatever amount of time that Peter then had allotted, which technically would be Block's time.
yeah,
It just
okay.
gets passed. Yeah.
But
I
then
think
this
that
is
feels right.
it would, right? It would.
Mhm.
But 2 weeks later, they're like, we clearly solved it. And then Molly, was going to
Mhm.
live either way, so she's good. And
Mhm.
then I've got Block's time, so I'm okay. And I
Mhm.
killed a person, but I killed a person who killed a person, so kind of double
Yeah.
negative,
Well, it was
right?
self-defense.
Right. So is it self-defense if he stabs him from behind, though? I feel like a
Well,
good lawyer could make this work for Peter's family.
yes and no, because
Mhm.
he had already killed the Block. So he already killed Block. He was trying to kill Amy. What the fuck is her name?
Ollie.
Molly. God, I hate her. Molly. He was trying to kill Molly. So he's protecting Molly. I mean, I guess he could have like gotten him in a chokehold, but I think he was trying to find a way to get those years.
So 2 weeks later, they're flying to Paris. And so I guess also too, I just think it's interesting. You have this mass death tragedy with this bridge, and then you have this
Mhm.
agent who is following this group who was involved, who all started dying one by one. And then the agent gets murdered,
Mhm.
right, by one in this group. And you have your two survivors of this. And 2 weeks later, they're trying to flee the country. Do you think they'd like allow them to do that?
That's a really
They'd be
good
like,
point. They'd still
they'd be
be
like, what do you
actively
mean you're,
investigating. Yeah.
yeah.
They're
I'm like, what do
like,
you mean?
no, you're not
You
doing your
can't go to
internship
France.
or your
Yeah.
apprenticeship.
Yeah. No, 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 no. Um,
That's a good point.
so they're on the plane. And then one of our big twists. I like that we get like a big twist and then we get a little baby twist just to carry us down. I like it.
Yeah, the
Uh
big twist is fun.
May 13th, 2000. Fuck, we're on flight 180. Fuck. And then
And I love
there
that
we
they show
go.
that little clip of Carter and Alex
Alex. Yeah.
fighting. Yeah, that's really fun. I when I first watched this, and I know it wasn't in the theater because I remember specifically sitting on my couch by myself, seeing this twist and being like, "What the fuck?" The payoff was so good.
He was a
I
ghost the whole time.
That's how I felt. It had like that type of like little twist for me. I loved it. I that thrill gives this movie like a whole boo for me.
So then I am so confused if it ties into the first one because then either,
You're
oh
gonna
Jesus. Okay.
overcomplicate things. I feel it
So
coming.
either Sam obtained Block's life and Block was supposed to die then,
Mhm.
or he obtained not Block's life, but whatever Peter had left, which was a very short amount of time, right?
Oh, okay. But he wouldn't have had 2 weeks.
I don't know. Death seems to kind of wait sometimes.
Yeah, death is kind
Um,
of like petty and likes to play
yeah.
games.
Or none of it worked and he was just on his own time and died.
I like none of it working and death just being kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna give them a couple weeks. They got that flight coming up. Could get a couple others in the meantime. Just group everybody together. Put them on flight 180. It's doomed.
And that's the thing where it's just like ultimately with these movies, here are rules, here are new rules, but
Hmm.
ultimately none of it ever matters
Never
ever
matters. Yeah.
because you're all just gonna die. And dare us.
I think that might be the point. I mean, that's what I've always thought was so funny about these movies that they're like, we have to avoid dying. And I'm like, okay, let's be clear. You can't do that. Like you will die. Like you want to delay dying. Like that's what
Yeah,
you're really trying to do. So I always think that it's really funny that they're trying to avoid the like inevitable. I know that it's like much shorter amount of time, but the way the
yeah.
language that they use makes it sound like they just think they're gonna fucking live forever. So that's silly.
So that plane blows the fuck up.
Mhm.
She gets sliced in half on the wing when she
Love
falls
it.
out. He gets set on fire and melted away, just like Devon Sawa in his premonition in the first one.
Mhm.
Um,
I do appreciate these movies for doing things like that too, because you'll have these like main characters that are like so important and they make it through and they persevere, and then they have just as shitty of a death as like other characters, which is really fun. Like when they get split in half or lit on fire or whatever it is. I appreciate the cruel, like the cruelty of it all.
and then, like I said, you got your big twist, and then your one little extra baby
I
twist.
love
Like
the
here you
big
go,
twist. I love it. The
where
Roy twist.
they're at Roy's memorial, and they're toasting him or whatever, and someone's talking to Nathan at the bar, and then
Because Nathan still has his job.
Nathan still has his job. He's doing good, and he thinks he's
Mhm.
gonna live for at least a little while, doing okay. Um, and then just to find out that Roy had some like embolism in his brain or something that
Mhm.
he was gonna go in any second anyway.
Yeah.
Um, which means immediately right that second. Because then you have an engine for the plane just crash
Uh,
through and then kill
so
him.
that's very fun. I really enjoyed that too.
Because I like kind of forgot about Nathan.
I did too. I
afterwards.
know. I forgot about Nathan, and he's super nice. Like he really was going through it. His coworkers were like just treating him like shit. He was kind of in between the office people and the underground downtown warehouse. Like he just yeah, that he was and he's trying to be nice and be friends with Roy, and Roy was just being a dick.
Now they're both dead. You got
Hmm.
some limbs fly at the screen, and then that's the end of our movie. I do like the credits because again, just like they've done before, they're like, "Hey,
Here it
here's
is
all the
again.
greatest hits from all the kills. Here it is
Yeah.
again. This time, here it is with some more stuff popping at you. I feel like they were like, "Hey, let's also right some wrongs.
It's very self-congratulatory every time they do this.
Not only do we bring Tony Todd back, we know he fucked up, but then also
Mhm.
let's give you all those kills you remember and like have stuff pop at you. Let's give it a 3D treatment for you because you never got that, for the first two movies at least.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our movie.
Yeah.
Final Destination 5, Anal Destination.
Anal Destination. There it is. The only thing that we left out that I really enjoyed, and it's not important, but I thought it was a fun little joke, was Dennis sitting in his office and he's on the phone with someone from who works at the company. And he's like, well, isn't like such and such department supposed to file something like that? And they're like, well, they're deceased. Like, I just love the idea of the big boss then having to like do all the other jobs. So that gave me a good
Yeah.
chuckle because he probably just sits in that office, typically does nothing. I thought
I
that was
just like
fun.
how and he reports everyone's behavior to Block, being like,
Yes.
is this weird that he did that?
Hmm.
Should we have code words?
Yeah, he wants to
Give me
feel important, like he's part of solving this
yeah.
mystery. Yeah.
Hmm.
I had to throw that out there.
So, taglines.
You're gonna be so happy to know that there's only four for this one.
Okay.
Probably
Not bad.
the least amount of taglines for a Final Destination movie. They're not great. We've got we all share a common destination,
Okay.
an anal destination.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's
We
not part of the
everyone's
tagline.
everyone's got butts. So that's true.
This summer, death decides how, fate decides when. They're adding a whole nother entity in here.
I okay. I like it.
They say that in the movie.
Okay.
Someone says that. Kill or be killed.
I feel like if you hadn't seen the movie yet and you saw that tagline, you'd be like, "What?" But you'd have to watch the movie to understand that that's
Yeah,
kind of
I
the
agree.
rule.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which the other two they work. And then death has never been closer.
To coming. Anal
So you're
destination.
still thinking about anal destination.
Those are actually all pretty solid taglines. They're
They're
fine.
not bad. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
they put some effort into it. I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah. So, okay, what are we doing first? Ranking the
I got you.
openings?
I got you. Calm
Okay,
down.
cool. Thank
First,
you.
first we're doing favorite kill. Do you want to go first or should I?
Yeah, I think I think it's kind of an easy call that it's Candace's death, the
It's
gymnast death.
Candace. Yeah.
Looks so cool. I
It's
love it.
Candace. Yeah, that spine we didn't mention earlier. So there's a couple things with Candace. She's bent in half, like backwards. There's that because we know she's flexible. And then not that flexible. Then her spine is like completely like poking out of her back, which is really fun. And then she gets that little finger twitch.
Yeah,
Her little
love a
finger
good
twitch
twitch.
afterwards. Oof. Yeah. So I agree. I think Candace is the best kill. So we're in agreement.
How about do you have a second favorite? Let's see if we differ. Do you have a quick second favorite?
Quick second favorite would probably be Isaac. The acupuncture needles just really, ooh, they really get to me. Who's yours?
Yeah. It'd probably be the wrench through the head. Just
Mm-hmm.
because it looked good. I like that
And it
practical
does catch
effect.
you by surprise. We like a surprise.
Yeah.
So that's fun. That's a good pick.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna rank our opening scenes. Did you prepare?
No, I'm gonna wing it, but that's
You're gonna
okay.
wing it? Okay. Airplane wing it?
Yeah. So, do you want me to just give you my five, or do you want me to start from like worst to best for dramatic effect? What would you
For
prefer?
dramatic effect, let's go count down to number one. So worst to best.
Okay. Might be a hot take. The worst one, the first one. Um,
You shut the fuck up.
yeah, I mean, because the movie just didn't get its footing yet on like
Oh,
how
wow.
audacious they could make these openings. So,
Okay.
yeah,
We can argue about that another time.
I think it goes this one. So one, then five, the suspension bridge one.
Okay.
Do you like the tar death? That's really
I
fun.
know it is really fun.
Then I go roller coaster
Okay.
for number three. Number two, I would put the NASCAR one. Just because
Really? You
it's
talked so much shit.
I don't know, people changed.
Goodness gracious. You are such a fucking wild card.
It's still the worst movie. But if it's just the opening, I'm like, I could watch
Wow.
tires and dolphin cars, do that sort of thing. And then number one is Final Destination 2. I think that's my favorite opening. It has a lot of
Wow.
really fun kills there. How about you?
Our our ranking could not be more different. You
Love it.
ready? Okay. Last I have NASCAR. That one's my least favorite.
Okay.
Then roller coaster. Then we go to the bridge. I think it's a nice in the middle. Then I put the car wreck logging truck situation. And then Final Destination 1, the airplane. And the reason why is
Yeah.
because that one scared me the most. That
Mm.
gave me the most suspense and scares. Whereas the car crash with the logging truck, I think is the most fun. Like it's very visually like I think that one probably cost them the most to pull off. So we're
It's fun.
we're totally different rankings for our opening scenes.
The idea of the plane thing haunts me, probably the most consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Though I probably think about maybe
And
just live in the
many
Pacific
people.
Northwest. I see those long trucks with the logs on them a
Yeah.
lot. So I think that also fucks with me a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember like a whole lot of like really like wild, impressive kills in that premonition.
I mean, people do fly out the fucking side of the plane. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, that is pretty scary.
They're not as wild as future films, but I found that one to be the scariest. So that's why I put it first.
Yeah, I think I was going like what's the funniest, goriest, most entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
okay. I
Okay.
love that we were very different on that.
I know. That was fun. Okay, I'm glad we ended that in.
So
Okay. Boo score.
you go first.
Okay. I okay. I thought that this was going to happen. As I was watching it, it was very much validated. I really enjoy this movie. I am going to give this a generous 2.5 boos. I think that this one is really solid. I think it corrects so many things that the third and fourth do wrong, and even the second. Like I find this very entertaining. I love the drama. Love it. So I gave it 2.5. How about you?
Okay. I give it two boos.
Okay.
This is much, much easier to watch than the last one.
Yeah.
Um, it is that last one's fucking rough. What did I
You
give?
hated that one. You
Yeah,
gave that
it's
half a boo.
and I stand by that. It's so
Whew.
bad. But I'll give this a solid two. This is fun. I honestly, I think not only do I like that gymnast death, it might be one of my like top five deaths in the series.
For sure.
Just by how just simple and brutal it is and the suspense, with it.
Hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
agree.
I give it two boos. I don't remember
Do you want me
how
to
many
tell you
boos
what you
I
gave the other
gave.
ones?
Yeah, maybe let me know really quick.
So Final Destination one, 3.5 boos, two,
Okay.
2.5, three, 1.5, four, half, and then this one you landed at two.
Okay. Let's give this one.
Oh, you're gonna
mm,
change it?
no, let's save it. I
This is
can't.
your
I'm not
only
gonna do it.
chance to change it.
Nope, nope. My rankings might not reflect it though. My boo scores,
Oh,
but who
okay.
cares?
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want me to rank for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. The worst one is definitely Final Destination 4. That movie is hot trash. You listen to me just get so upset.
Yeah, you were real upset.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's real bad. Um, Geez. I'm gonna say I didn't prepare. So
You didn't
the
prepare?
the fourth one is, or no, I have it in order the other way. I'm just getting turned around doing it
Just say
backwards.
say it in order of favorite to least favorite then. Rank them 1 to 5. Do it that way.
So two, one, three, five, four. So yeah,
So
the
two
best
is your
one,
favorite.
two is my favorite.
Okay. Least
And
favorite,
and
definitely
and
four.
even though I gave a better boost score to five than to three, I have I'm slowly
You
coming
think
around on
three is
three.
better than five?
I think so.
I think you are tripping this evening. I completely disagree.
I really like Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
That's not fair. That's not how this works.
First of all, first of all,
We never play favorites with actors on this podcast.
with this series, I don't have to follow any rules. None of it matters. So
That's true. We don't have to follow any rules if there's one thing we've learned from Final Destination films.
So maybe because I find, late 2000s Mary Elizabeth Winstead to be very cute.
Yeah.
Um, that goes a long way. And I like roller coasters. And I know I have gotten so much fucking bullshit about my understanding of tricentennials or where this fucking movie took place.
Yeah, we've
Whatever.
had
I
we had some listener feedback.
don't care. Um, it's Yeah, I don't know. Two, one, three, five, four. But five and three are very, very close. I feel like you could switch those, but I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay.
How about you?
Now mine feels like a real hot take. You ready?
Go for it.
Okay. Mine is 1, 5, 2, 4, 3, which you're probably not surprised by.
Yeah.
As I watched this one, I was like, this is definitely my second favorite Final Destination film. I've watched it a lot. I enjoy it every time I watch it. And it's not a perfect movie or anything like that, but it's very entertaining. It's the perfect amount of I know these characters, but I don't give a fuck about them. Like that's great. I think the kills are really fun. Love the tie back. I enjoy the level of silliness to seriousness. I think they found a really good balance. So I'm really excited to see what the new one brings.
It might be the first one I'll actually watch in a theater. I may have seen the fifth one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll definitely see it in the theater.
Well, for
Mhm.
now, which I mean that won't be till like what, May?
Mhm.
Yeah. We'll see. That might be the first time we do like a new movie, like right after. We'll see if we do
That's
Final Destination
ambitious.
6 that month.
I was thinking we would do it in June.
Maybe. We'll
We'll
see. We don't
see.
have the calendar yet, but we'll
We'll
figure it
see.
out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Um, that kind of wraps up everything with Final Destination 5. Did I miss anything?
No. And it wraps up Final Destination as a franchise.
I know. So, y'all Y'all are just very excited, I'm sure, to find out what our next franchise is going to be. I don't even know if
So
we
are
know
we.
that
So
yet.
are we.
Yeah.
We're so excited to find out.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if it was something like you'd just be like, No, we've talked about this, Kyle," and I
No,
just didn't remember.
no. I will say now that we've gone through this franchise faster than like I've ever watched it probably because I when I go through franchises I'll watch like, Child's Play, I'll go through, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'll watch them pretty quickly consecutively, but I've never done that with this franchise. And what I realized was
Hmm.
this is a franchise for a really fun first time watch to figure out what the kills are going to be. And then rewatching in the background while you're doing everything else and just pausing and like watching the kills and being like, that was fun. And then going back to whatever you're doing, whenever the in between is, because it's not really, for me at least, like it's not in my list of favorites, but I have seen these movies a lot and I will watch them again probably. So there's that.
I probably will
Yeah.
too. My wife loves these,
Yeah.
so
There you go.
yeah, I don't think I have a choice. Okay, that's all I got. Take care, everybody, and yeah, I don't know, avoid a bridge if you can. I don't know. Does any of
Yeah.
it matter, really?
Let us know if you want to suggest any franchise you'd like us to talk about. Doesn't mean we're going to do it, but you could throw it out there.
Maybe. All right, everybody. Take care. Three, two, one, ghost.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Final Destination 5. If you enjoyed this episode and survived this franchise with us, you can subscribe to our podcast and leave us a killer review on whichever platform you choose to listen. You can find us on Instagram at 321GhostPod and give us a follow. We would love to hear from you in the comments. You can shoot an email to 321ghostpod@gmail.com to share any thoughts, questions, or let us know what other franchises you think we should discuss. Next week, we're covering a listener request with 2009's The Fourth Kind. Thanks again for listening, and remember, you really can't cheat death, so just have a good time. 3, 2, 1, ghost.